on the scoreboard. Sometimes also all you need to stop the bleeding, as they say, quotation marks. But it was only the second game here, so we got ourselves a Vienna kind of. It could transpose into many openings.
Yeah, kind of starts as a Bishop's opening / Vienna. Now, I was going to say it could go to the Italian, but Jan is playing a very ambitious move. There's a lot of theory here if Alireza wants to go for it. Starting with pawn to f4, black breaks out with d5 and chaos, but he brings his queen out to stop this d5 move. And this has become quite trendy, James. Like people started with the Italian, now they're kind of graduating onto these more sophisticated ones where you leave your knight, put it on e2, and open up for f4 quite quickly.
It's very fun. It's sort of like the what is it, close Sicilians, where of course the bishop is generally on g2 with pawn on g3 castling, and then you just go h3, king h2, and f4, and everything forward. g4, h4, very fun. You can generally play it almost against anything, but very fun positions. I think that it's actually something I see Firouzja do a lot. He's played a lot of bishops opening, a lot of Viennas, Roy Lopez's, and Italians just to mix it up a little bit. So having that flexibility to kind of play anything obviously helps a lot here. So we do see in the future, though, f4 would be very strong after king h1, maybe trading on e6. I was going to say queen h3 and attack e6 and then go f4, but he goes h3 himself.
Mm-hmm. He's willing here, Alireza, to allow his pawn structure to be shattered. There we go. Some doubled pawns. Those are long-term weaknesses. Maybe the black queen's just going to come and stare at those pawns now. But he's going for checkmate. That's his style. And knight and f5. Apparently this last move a mistake. That's very mysterious. That's the most natural move in the position. James, are your spidey senses tingling?
Yeah,
Bishop h6.
That's a nice move, but 98 is just 98 doesn't work or something. Bishop takes, knight takes, queen g. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't. No, he has queen f6. Well, he didn't go. 98 was interesting, I believe.
Yeah, he has to give up the exchange now, Jan. Yeah, there were some cool lines on the board that you were mentioning there, but he couldn't have taken the bishop because of a checkmate on the g-file. So he has to give up this piece, and he's just thinking about how to take back. At least he's going to get the b3 pawn and some compensation, maybe based on the dart squares for black here.
I do love that extra material, though. As okay, yeah, the b3 pawn is hanging. You do have what they say compensation. You get an exchange with that extra pawn. Takes. Okay, now we move the knight. h6 or e3. E3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does worry me long term, James, that he's missing stuff like bishop h6, Jan. That's a difficult tactic, but not at this level, I would say. So the fact that he didn't seem to register bishop h6, didn't see it coming, that's, yeah, I think long term in the match, maybe showing that he's not as sharp as Alireza yet.
Sometimes it takes a few games to warm up. Just a few, which they're kind of in that already. 1.5. He's only a game down. Here the worst is not that bad yet. You are done exchange, but you want to limit the trades, try to create something. You use the queen side, but it's easier said than done. Like you don't want to open up the game too much where you allow some trades. Also, the rook is very active, as you're pointing out. Rook a6, which hits the c pawn and have to defend. Rook to c8.
Yeah, he drops his knight back instead, given a question mark, because the black queen can now swoop in, and that's a double attack, hitting two different pawns. Maybe missed there by Alireza, who's played a bit quicker than normal, but still behind on the clock. Jan is finding compensation. This could still turn around if black gets a couple of pawns. Maybe the b pawn, and his own b pawn will become a runner.
What I actually like here, I think Jeremy Shulman's, what is that book? The Reassess Your Chess, which is an excellent book, was talking about having two knights are really hard to play with, which makes sense here because if the knights can't move around, you don't have squares to really put them on. They are hard pieces to work with. As we don't even have if you could pick up the knight and place it somewhere, I call this the drag and drop method of like trying to find a piece, find a place you would love to put the piece and figure out a realistic way to get there. And I don't even see that anywhere for these knights. I mean, a knight gets to h6, okay, cool. Then what, right? So definitely some compensation for Jan here as he's able to grab a pawn here. I think he feels pretty comfortable even though he's down exchange, but the knights are not happy pieces. Yeah, he took a draw. Understandable.